Hello, first graders. Miss Jen is back with our reading lesson, and today we'll be reading a story that is slightly different from the other stories that we have been reading. And so, I'm sure some of you guys remember what type of reading this is, because we did talk about this type of story before. So let's take a look. It's just one page, a very short and brief story. And these type of stories called what? Right, poem, right? P-O-E-M, poem. So today we'll be reading a poem called Brooms. But before we dive into the story, I would like to introduce a couple of words that we will be talking about today. Of course, the title of the poem was Broom, right? And you all know what broom is. This is a broomstick. Yeah. So just hold on to this word as we read the poems together. This is broom, B-R-O-O-M. One more time, everyone. Broom. Okay. Another word is this one over here. So this guy here is holding a broomstick, right? And what is he doing with the broom? Yeah, he's sweeping. Sweep. S-W-E-E-P. Yes, so this guy is sweeping the floor with the broomstick. Yeah, so sweep and broom. Remember those two words. Whoopsie. Okay, and now let's move on. All right, let's start reading this poem called Brooms. And this is written by Dorothy. Oh, the Wizard of Oz. Dorothy Aldous, and illustrated by Preston Gravely Jr. Okay, everyone finger up. Finger down on on. Oh, actually, you know what? Before that, why don't we take a look at the illustration first? Look at that. So this is the illustration for this poem over here. Just by looking at the picture, what do you think the poem is going to be about? How's the weather? What do you think? Right, it's not very bright. It's a bit dark. Miss Jin thinks it looks like it's about to rain or something. Yeah, very dark, and I think it's a bit windy too. If you look at the tree, right, it's kind of tilted to the right, and I think all the trees and the wood, it looks like it's blowing to side by side. Yeah. Okay. Well, let's take a look. Finger up, finger down on. On stormy days, when the wind is high, tall trees are brooms, sweeping the sky. They swish their branches in buckets of rain and swoosh and sweep it blue again. Aha. So Dorothy, the author of the poem, is comparing what to what. So Miss Jen is going to read the poem once again, and I want you guys to think of the question. What is being compared to what? Okay, here you go again. On stormy days, when the wind is high, tall trees are brooms, sweeping the sky. They swish their branches in buckets of rain and swoosh and sweep it blue again. Oh, I love this poem. Don't you? Right, so did you guys think of what is being compared to what? What and what? So the author, Dorothy, says, what is like what? Yeah, ding, ding, ding. Trees are brooms. Why? Because they sweep the sky. How interesting comparing is that? So she compared the tall trees as brooms. Do they look alike? Yeah, they kind of do. If you put brooms upside down, they kind of look like trees, right? And on the days when we have like rainstorm or like very windy day, when the trees goes blow side by side, then they do look like they're sweeping the sky, don't they? Oh, how fun! So Dorothy, she compared the tall trees as brooms, and she said the tall trees are sweeping the blue sky. Oh, wow! And another word that I want you guys to notice is swish and swash. Swish, swash. So it's the sound that the wind makes. Yeah, swish, swash. When we have windy day and wind is blowing strongly, then we could say, "Oh, do you hear the swish and swash sound of the wind?" Yeah. So we use these words to describe the wind, the sound of the wind. Okay, swish and swash. And in first grade, you will get to write poems when we come back to school. And when you do, in the poems, remember that we use a lot of these words like swish, swash, like sound of something that a thing makes, an animal or things make, or cling, clang, or like wolf, wolf, animal sound, cock-a-doodle-doo, or those like sound that a thing or animal makes. We use a lot of those words in a poem because it makes it really interesting, really fun to read. Yeah. So yeah, tall trees are brooms sweeping the sky. Oh, that is really fun idea to put in a poem. Tall trees are sweeping the sky. They swish their branches in buckets of rain. You guys have been using buckets in art class, right? If you're taking art class, like water buckets. And swash and sweep it blue again. So she's saying when we have dark sky, the trees are sweeping the sky and swashing and swishing and sweeping it back to blue sky again. That is very fun. Okay, so I want you guys to think of the meanings to the poem, and we'll read one last time and we'll move on to our work text. Everyone finger up, finger down on brooms. Brooms. On stormy days, when the wind is high, tall trees are brooms, sweeping the sky. They swish their branches in buckets of rain and swash and sweep it blue again. Oh, I love it. How lovely. Okay, now let's move on to our work text. So you would need your glue sticks and scissors. Go get them, please. So you will cut out the titles and read each poems, and then glue the correct title above each poem. Okay. So here at the bottom, we have two titles, Snow and Rain. And you're going to read the poems and put the correct title above each poem. Okay. So why don't we read the first one together? Drip, drop, drop, drip. Trickles on windows, sprinkles on gardens, ripples in puddles, splashes in pond. Drip, drop, drop, drip. By Kathleen Heinicke. This is a fun poem. Okay, I think some of you guys already know what title should go over here, right? But let's read the second poem and then we'll come back to it. Okay. Oh, but before we move on, so the sound this author wrote here, drip, drop, drop, drip. What sound does it sound like? Yeah, raining sound, right? Drip, 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 drop, drop, drop. And we also know puddles, right? Yeah, it's a hole the rain makes on the ground. Yeah. And if you jump on the puddles, oh, you'll all, you'll get your clothes messy, right? And splash. This is another sound that you can make when you play in the water. Splash in ponds. So I think we all know what title should go over there, but before we glue the title in the box, let's read the second one first. Here you go. Soft as a whisper, it floats on the breeze, whirling and twirling, drifting with ease. Flurry or blizzard, it blankets the land, glimmering and glittering, sparkling, white, grand. By the same author, Kathleen Heinecke. Oh, I love this poem too. So what I love about poem first grade is that when you read poems, it makes you feel very calm and relaxed, and also makes you to imagine all these pictures in your head, right? Because it has so many like describing words and the words of sound, so you can just picture anything in your head and imagine and be creative, and you start thinking about like creating creative things, and you're creating your own picture in your head. That's what I love about reading poems. That's what I want you guys to be able to do as well. So by reading this poem, what do you think of? It's soft and it floats on the breeze, whirling and twirling, flurry or blizzard. Blizzard is like snowstorm. And it blankets the land. I think this line is my favorite. So you all know what blanket is, right? You need blankets when you go to bed, right? You put blankets over yourself when you go to bed. And it's comparing this thing to blanket on the land. What's covering the land as blanket? And it sparkles white grand. Yeah, it's gotta be snow, right? But how fun is it to describe or compare snow as blanket, right? It's soft as a whisper. When it snows, it's very soft, right? Unless it's like a snowstorm. When it's snowing, very quietly and calmly and softly, and the author is comparing it snowing as a whisper. I really like that. So you guys go ahead and cut the titles out. You should put rain over here, snow over here. And I want you guys to try reading each poems one more time as Miss Chin reads. Rain. Drip, drop, drop, drip. Trickles on windows, sprinkles on gardens, ripples in puddles, splashes in ponds. Drip, drop, drop, drip. Snow. Soft as a whisper, it floats on the breeze, whirling and twirling, drifting with ease. Flurry or blizzard, it blankets the land, glimmering and glittering, sparkling white grand. Oh, both poems are so lovely. Have fun reading one more time on your own, and Miss Chin will be back with another lesson tomorrow. Bye, first grade.